nhớ rằng sự đời bây lúc window company nó hùa integrity window installation bây giờ khởi trái thế khởi trong thế siding chỉ ta lên đó bây cũng mua plau phá là nè tại vì nó plau phá là pu free after khởi đó nó chỉ nên mà mạo ở lì thể là tao bây mua bank trái nhiều thứ xíu ở lì thể giờ nên lên từ ní khởi trái chia nó chỉ hù tốt trâu chỉ ý plau bây ý gì chỉ ý trâu chỉ ý plau bây ý gì chỉ ý trâu chỉ ta lên đó bây cũng siding là sót chế cho siding nó nếu mà chỉ tiêu xong phay warranty chỉ tới nếu chỉ tới phay lên chỉ ta lên đó nếu tốt nếu chỉ nhẹ lên cho tầm nó hú tốt trâu chỉ ý plau bây ý gì chỉ ý trâu chỉ ý plau bây ý gì chỉ ý trâu.
So I like to kind of organize the ribbon cutting ceremony right now. So I would like to invite Councilwoman Pa and Mayor Dango to be on this side as a pair.
Okay.
I would like to sit on the other side. On the other side, please, standing on the other side.
Okay.
I would like Senator Fong and Senator Bigham in the middle.
Okay.
I would like Dr. Shua Tao and Uncle Zongbi Va. If you could be on the left side here. Uncle Dr. Shua, you guys can do the ribbon cutting. And Annie, Marley, and Singamai, the school board will be here. Marley and Uncle Gamai. Oh, Uncle Gamai, you come here. You're this side. You're the recipient of the, and you and Marley are here. And Annie's here, and Lee, you and Boo will be here.
Thế vậy đó nè, nu nào giờ in nu rong, và nu nào giờ nu này tụi bà xóa là sao nè, cái xử lý và hôm mà theo poli là mình cho thế thế tông bỏ nè, nè cô chỉ chia sẻ, nè cho cái bà xóa nhau nè lu nâng, ít xin nâng nu nào là sao là, chỉ chỉ nào là giá tòn thế, mua cho nó cho chữ xóa lên xóa tua khi lu nhà nó chế nó trộn nè, còn nè tua khi mình tu mình nhọ. Còn lại chơi lên chơi, còn lại chia nào tổ chữ, chia phát tổ hư, còn lại lọ vẫn nâng nhót mà còn lại cho tổ bế chấm phong, cho tổ lúc tết cho mình cả nó, mù còn như nó cái hộp bò còn cơn chi, còn như nó tê mình tu mình nhọ, ý lên, hư ý lên, còn chỉ cho mù online ở chun, còn chỉ cho mù như nó tự chiaอยู่bỏ, chỉ cho mù xin đầu xin tua trở lý niệm như nó cái phê cái chỉ rong cả lấy cho qua cả lấy chúa mua lo theo anh nó chỉ là nó lấy giá tỏ mà cả nè bây tu này là chỉ lúc nó cho và nó cho mình tu mình nhỏ chỉ hay bây giờ mong là giờ tàn thọ cho nên nhớ cho nó xử lý xuất tụ tua có nó là cả thứ này á để chỉ nó lại tỏ bây giờ cho nó cho chứ sẽ là do chỉ lúc ba nó cho nè mà cả nè tàu nó tới ba cả tôi nó tới ba cả tôi cho chỉ cả tôi nó tới ba cả tôi dùng chỉ cả tôi đông chỉ lúc nó là đó cả chỉ lúc ba nó tôi nè mà giờ ban tao ba sao thì xí nên cho mà cái giờ ban nhà ba cũ nè mà cái nên tới ba chỉ nó chỉ tao chỉ trồng nó chỉ cơ của chỉ cần gì nói chơi có cái gì nè chỉ
cái kia là mình ở cái chỗ kiếm cái nào cái chữ cái số lúc chỉ ba chỉ mà chỉ số là chữ lúc thế
chào cho một chia đó
Thank you.
là nó này và cũng tôi hay luôn có hay bọn nó sẽ
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll just show us it.
So yeah, we don't want to take her here.
Rồi, giờ mong là các con.
Okay, so come on in. We're gonna go inside. We're gonna go make a. Where's Lally? He went somewhere. He went to grab. Who's gonna manage this down there? Is it a mic down there? It's already down there.
It's all
already
set.
down there. All that? I'll sit down. Yep.
You got her?
right, folks. I'd like to invite everyone to find a seat. We will start the remarks, and then we will have lunch, and then we will have entertainment from our great Mr. Neng Xiong. Those of you who haven't seen my friend Tsev, we'll have fun for sure. All right, I'd like to invite all of those that are upstairs to come down. All right, please find your seat. Okay. Well, good morning. I feel like it's afternoon, but good morning. My name is Ntawm. I will be the MC for this event. I'm really happy to see all of you here. We have a lot of very distinguished guests from Minnesota and from elsewhere. So we're very fortunate to have you here. On our first list here, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker. I want to get going because I'm hungry. So I want to get going so we can eat some food, and we'll hear from Mr. Xiong, who will keep us entertained for the rest of the day, maybe the rest of the week for me. All right, our first speaker is Dr. Shuatao. Dr. Shuatao has been a lifelong student of education and community innovation. Arrived in the U.S. as a refugee at the age of 13. He was placed in the 7th grade for 2 months. The following school year, he jumped to the 9th grade at La Salle Academy in Providence, Rhode Island, where he finished high school with high honor. Dr. Tao is a family physician and an attorney. He received his undergraduate degree from Brown University and attended the Brown Dartmouth Medical School program. He also holds a Master's in Public Health degree from Harvard University and a Juris Doctor from the William Mitchell Law School. Dr. Tao is also a lifelong community innovator. He was one of the principal architects for the Hmong National Development, or H&D, right? Hmong National Development, the Hmong Minnesota Chamber of Commerce, the Minnesota Hmong Bar Association, Minnesota Hmong Medical Association, and the Hmong Nationality Organization, where he is the current chair of the board. Welcome, Dr. Tao.
Nhớ con luôn. Nhớ cho nó chỉ có hàng rồi cho nó trên cái món này. Cái bây giờ là tôi bây giờ chỉ cho thì cái này chỉ tao món cho tiền rồi. Tôi cho nó này giờ này giờ sẽ good morning. Tôi đi chụp là nó chỉ tôi cho nó tay món. Thank you Annie. Annie nhớ được. Stand up. Thank you, Annie, who I can also call Ntawm, for asking me and my wife to join you this morning to celebrate the opening of Cross River Elementary School. We are happy and truly excited for you. And for your endless efforts for the past many years. I remember talking to you a few years ago about the idea of creating a charter school. I heard the passion in you. I felt the energy and could attest to the flow of idea after idea. I had no doubt then, as I do now, that this day would certainly come sooner or later, and it is here today, so I'm very, very proud of you. Hello, Annie. Today your dream has come true, and I'd like to congratulate you and obviously your team for taking an idea into reality. a notion into fruition, or as we Hmong often said, a seed into a fruit. I have known Annie for many years, both as a professional and as a relative. She is smart, hardworking, tough, gritty, and courageous. She does not settle tasks without results. A few years ago, I was told that Annie drove alone by herself from Oshkosh, Wisconsin to the immigration office in Chicago to single-handedly work to get her sister out of political persecution in Laos. I knew of her determination and Annie's capability. I was sure of her commitment to those in need. Hey, Mom, you have tirelessly done it again. We crossed the river. I am very, very proud of you. I am very grateful for the opportunity you've taken upon yourself to create something new for all of us. We don't share the coin, no. The coin is to sister. However, I know that this project, which is enormous in size and in scope, cannot be accomplished by you alone, by one person. Your leadership team deserves as much praise and compliments. So kudos to each of you for doing your best to make this a reality today for all of us. With the opening of Cross River Elementary, I know that the students will be in good hands. This school will be more than just a place of learning. It will be blessed with endless opportunities for the kids to grow physically, emotionally, and intellectually. The school will provide the students the chance to meet other people, to be a part of a larger community, to appreciate others, and to open their eyes to cultures, traditions, languages, history, and to know each other better as friends and neighbors. In a nutshell, the student in here will become better sons and daughters through the work of this institution, the shaping and molding occurring day in and day out by the people who are placed in here to care for them and for their best interests. Every student enters here with potential and will walk out being much fuller, better self-confidence, higher self-esteem, and a stronger, brighter individual. A lot of time we ask why another elementary school? Why Cross River? Well, Annie, and Mom, and all of you. Each school comes with a philosophy, a vision, and a mission to improve the life of those it seeks to serve. We all can always do more and do better. Based on the latest census 2020, new Americans in Minnesota are relatively young or from young communities. At the Hmong Nationalities Organizations, or H&O, we realize that the most new American families are young and many have school-aged children. We believe that these communities could benefit from being and having more choices, access, and opportunities on where to have their kids go and learn. I would like to advise Cross River and its leadership team, especially you, Annie, being the executive director, to continue building partnership with the various communities around the school. As stakeholders, these communities and their family will help sustain the school and continue to make it better, stronger, and clearer on its commitment and aspiration I would also encourage Cross River to take its responsibility and tasks for the students with utmost seriousness and accountability. Nothing in this school is more important than ensuring the well-being and academic success of the young boys and girls whose lives and future their parents willingly entrust in your care, in your words and in your deeds. You must keep the trust and honor the belief and faith all those families and students have in you. Communication and involvement are usually the building blocks of a bridge between the school, parents, and its surroundings. As Hillary Clinton once wrote, it takes a village to raise a child. Remember to keep every part in Cross River active, talking, listening, hearing, rolling, and tuning in the wheel of learning, growing, and trying to make a difference in the lives and work of everyone involved. Lastly, it is truly an honor to share this joyful day with you, Annie, and your leadership team. I hope and pray that better days gleefully await you. May peace, progress, and prosperity be with you today, tomorrow, and forever into the future. Good luck and thank you. It's an honor to be here to support you. Đồng xuyên này tôi sẽ bàn nướng cái này chủ yếu sáng này cái thứ tích kỳ tôi cần nấu được nó để của tôi hay là tại mò thế mình khăn ăn thì phải là khi lúc chỉ cần nấu nó chỉ là ở cha ở trong ở đâu ở hú thì chỉ sợ cái thay như nhá sáng cái sợ kiếm về cái bản năng cho nên cái thứ tích kỳ này nếu mà xé lò nữa thì mà đó chỉ để chú là tại mò thế mình khăn ăn mình yếu bán đi rồi yếu bán đi cả cơ là lúc xé luôn chủ thì vấn đề sẽ được tròn đồng. Thank you, Dr. Tao. Our next speaker is Mayor Sandy Dangle of St. Paul Park. Mayor Dangle's political and civic experience include the Citizens Advisory Committee, Secretary to the Metropolitan Parks and Open Space Commission, the Land Use Advisory Committee, the Committee of the Whole, the Rural Issue Work Group, and the Metropolitan Radio Board. Mayor Dangle currently serve as the Cottage Grove Area Chamber Board, the Red Rock Corridor Commission, the Great River Rail Commission, the Holiday Train Committee, and the Citizens Advisory Panel for Marathon Refinery. In the November 2017 special election, Mayor Dangle was elected as mayor of St. Paul Park. In November 2019, Mayor Dangle was elected as mayor for a 4-year term. She has been a long and devoted member of the St. Paul Park City Council since 2005, winning 3 consecutive terms until she was elected mayor in 2017. Please help me welcome Mayor Dangle of St. Paul Park.
Thank you. That makes me sound like a very busy woman, and truly I am. But I want to thank you all for inviting me here today, and I'm so happy to see this charter school come into this community where we can offer our residents more opportunities for education. As many of you may know, we have a Spanish immersion school. We have the Hope Christian Academy just adjacent to this school as well. And now to be able to offer, in addition to public schools, we have with District 833 to have this charter school. It's just really an honor, and I thank you all for being here and bringing this opportunity to our community and surrounding communities. That's all I really have to say. I didn't have a whole lot prepared to speak on, but I am really glad that you're here, and I'm honored that you asked me to be here with you to celebrate this day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Dangle.
Our next speaker is Senator Kawm. We are delighted to have Senator Kawm here today. Since his election to the Minnesota Senate, he has worked hard on economic equity, youth summer jobs, affordable housing, and funding for Metro State, the Eastside Enterprise Center, as well as many other capital investments in our community, funding E to 12 to higher education, affordable children and health care, and public safety continue to be priorities. He continues to work hard in the capital and in our community with us to build a better future for our family, friends, and neighbors. Senator Her has been invited to speak throughout the country and this state for his strong leadership and commitment to the people. On a personal level, Senator Her is a dear friend. He's a great artist, and some of you may not know, but he's a great artist and a talent animation specialist. I continue to be grateful for the many hours he and I spent 21 years ago making a documentary film on my father's life when he passed away. Senator Her.
Thank you. What an honor, and thank you for bringing that personal note too. Yes, I'm a computer animator and also a very proficient video editor, and so now serving the Senate. I do have some time during the interim, not this year though, but the future years, you can call me on the interim time, and I'm certainly going to volunteer just to edit, your family video, but, just don't give me a clear-cut deadline. If you give me a clear-cut deadline, then you have to pay for that. But I use the crown and the paper, today, just because of education, and all of you are, academic savvy, all you are scholars, Dr. Shuo Tao, and Dr. Chu Tao, and many of you. So I'm not in your league when it comes to education. So I'm going to just use layman term, and I again, use my first crown here mainly just so that I don't forget to acknowledge, people that are here with us today. And first is Mayor Dingo for being here, thank you. And also, Councilwoman Susan Todd come all the way from Brooklyn Park, and she is seeking for election this year, running as state senator. So would it be nice to have two Hmong American state senators in our state? And then my best friend of all, and she represents this area. Since she got elected, I'm getting myself familiar with St. Paul Park and South St. Paul and Cottage Grove, not because the Hmong community moved down here, but because of her, that I come down here more often. And when she ran the first time, we did a kickoff for Senator Bigham, Carla Bigham, right across the street. Steve Hurst's house is right across the street. So, I said, I know this place. We host a kickoff for Carla Bigham across the street. So thank you, Senator, for being here. You are very attentive to your constituents, and I know this is in the right place. She can be called on, and probably more prompter than I am. I can a lot of events, but Senator Bigham is way beyond that. She will come and come. So just want to let you know and thank you for being here. Thank you for being in Cross River Academy too, and I'm so happy for you to take this initiative and for inviting me to speak to all of you. My message is a little antiquated, it's like probably 20 years, little late, but early on I always used the Lord of the Ring concept, like there's 9 rain and 1 rain control them all. Just 1 rain, and 1 rain can make you invisible, and do all that, and in this world, there's a philosophy that those who get along better have the ability to help others and lead others. But those who have education pretty much control everybody, the whole world. Those who have education, it's not the other way around. It's not those who get along better or those who love each other better, but education that keep our information pipeline all over the world. And it's not so much about controlling now these days. It's just an enhancement to society. If we want to modernize ourselves enhancement to society. Now, even Elon Musk and folks, some millionaire are talking about buying tickets to go to the moon. How to construct a rocket that holds so many people to go to the moon is all about science, it's all about education. So education is the key of all in our modern society at any level. So in order for us to compete with the rest of the world, for us to sustain ourselves, maintain ourselves, we have to resort to education. And thank you for being the one here. You actually yielding the rate, right now to build our future generation. And I would go to certain school, charter school, or public school, and I said, teach those kids just like how you would teach your children, and teach a school. Send your children to a school that you will send your children to the same school. So if you can maintain that standard, that you're okay despite all the political situation out there, or all the ebb and flow in life. So I would say teach your student as if you're teaching your children. And so I'm glad that you're here, and as a legislator this year, Senator Carla and us, pretty much DFLer, pushed hard for the growth and the increase of teachers of color. So that's the legislation that we passed this year, and it makes pretty much sense that you're building this school here as well. And I know that being a color founder of color, minority founder, you will be more consciential in getting teacher of color. So this is this could not be a better time than now that you open up your school. And congratulations and best of luck. And I look forward to seeing a lot of growth here in St. Paul Park in the near future and ongoing. So thank you all, and take care, and God bless you.
Thank you, Senator. Our next speaker is Senator Carla Bigham. She's my senator from my district here. I'm not going to talk about her political, so I'm going to tell more personal story. We're grateful that Senator from her has invited Senator Bigham to be here with us today. Senator Bigham has been a true advocate for our community. My brother Shua and I were proud owners of Cedarhurst Mansion for about 20 years in Cottage Grove. When the county and city developed County Road 19, the development had a significant encroachment on our main entrance. And who do we recall? At the time, it was Washington County Commissioner Bigham. And I called, and she was there, and the next day they had the road fixed. So I'm not going to talk about all the things she does, because I just want to talk about what she did for me. So I'm glad you're here, so I'd like to invite you to say a few words. This is my senator from our district here.
Well, thank you, and what a wonderful school, and what a wonderful opportunity for our communities. I first want to acknowledge Mary Bingle, a close personal friend of mine, for being here too. Such a fantastic representative of the community and growing and education. So all of these things are important to our district, and you, thank you for opening the school here. You're contributing to that growth. And I just want to say that I cannot add more than what Senator Kawm, again, a dear friend of mine, has said. Representation matters, and that is why we have to invest in teachers of color and making sure that students coming up have those mentors, those leaders to look up to that look like them, so that they can aspire. I mean, Suni Lee, yeah, right? Yeah. I mean, there's a classic example of how young children can aspire to achieve their dreams, and education is the foundation of that. And so we thank you so much for your investment in this community, your tireless effort, the blood, sweat, and tears that go into a project like this. And I thank everyone for being here today, and welcome to St. Paul Park and Senate District 54. And I can't wait to have Susan Pa come up behind me to speak, but to join me in the Senate too. So thank you.
They just handed me a note that I made a boo-boo, so it's in a school, so they point out that I didn't do right. Our next speaker is Councilwoman Susan Kaying Pa. Councilwoman Susan Kaying Pa is a member of the Brooklyn Park City Council, representing the West District since 2016. Councilwoman Pa works hard for transparency and accountability in governance. She focuses on serving residents by listening to their concerns, connecting them to city services, advocating on issues important to them, and being a responsible steward of taxpayers' dollars. Susan is committed to economic development, good roads and infrastructure, public safety, and creating opportunities for people to prosper. She is also an author of 2 published books and the president and CEO of Pa Publishing. We're delighted to have Councilwoman Pa here today.
Thank you so much. I wore my tall boots today so that I could be taller, but it hasn't helped me yet. I want to start out by saying just a quick story. I'm always super excited when I see Dr. Shilpa because 20 years ago, I don't know if you remember Dr. Shilpa, but I was a patient of yours. My husband and I went to your clinic. You were our family doctor. And that was one of the first times I saw a role model that looked like me, someone, and I thought, wow, that's really great. And it gave me inspiration. It made me believe that if I worked hard enough, I could make something of my life. So I want to thank you because you're a role model to many of us. And starting with that story, I just want to say that when I grew up, and I was in elementary school, I remember way back then, I am old, I'm 40-something, so I won't say how old, but up there. But like 30 years ago at elementary school, we didn't have a lot of teachers and principals and administrators in high positions in school that looked like us. In fact, I didn't even see a single Asian person, let alone Hmong person in my school. And so growing up and being a student, it made me feel like, why am I learning? Even if I come every day to learn, could I really achieve my dreams? Because all these people didn't look like me. And I was just this Hmong girl. But you know who I did see that looked like me? Was our janitor who was Hmong. He was actually one of my uncles who lived near our neighborhood. And I thought, wow, is that what's in store for me for my future? And back then, we didn't have a lot of success in our Hmong community because we were still many refugees and immigrants to this country. So I say that because I'm so incredibly proud, and thank you, Anne, for all the work that you do. I'm so incredibly proud because today, we have people in our schools, everywhere in our community, who look like us, who are in positions of leadership. And the fact that a child can come to your school and say, I know Ms. Lowe, and she is our executive director here, and someday I'm going to be like her, that just makes me so proud. And some may not know, but Anne is actually a very dear friend of mine. And so I know the passion that she has for students, for young people, and for education. So I think that one of her superpowers is being able to translate that to our children so that they love learning. And being able to really care about every child, because not only does she care about education, but she truly cares about every child's success. So when she talked about creating a school, and I know that you talked to me about these ideas like years ago, I can't believe today's the day that happened. And I just want to tell you, Anne, how happy I am for you. And I will say that our children are in great hands with you. So thank you.
Thank you for that story. Okay, well, our next speaker, I don't know if he's here, but let me read his bios. Timu is not here. Timu, so our speaker is Timu, but he's not here yet. I feel like when I look up the word community advocate and humanitarian, I will see his picture next to that word in the dictionary. Throughout the many years I've worked with Timu, he's always fundraising and advocating for the Burmese refugees. When there was the Great Flood in Myanmar, Timu was there to fundraise to send food and medical supplies. Timu was, during the recent conflict in Myanmar, Timu was also there to fundraise and give his own money to support the people who were affected by the conflict. In St. Paul, Minnesota, he's a dedicated advocate for the refugees from Myanmar, regardless whether they are Karen, Karenni, Shan, Hmong, or Burmese. He's one of the most ethical and dedicated advocates I have known in my 3 decades of service with the refugee population. I don't think Timu's here, but Timu is Burmese, and he's from the Burmese community here. I saw Ethri a little bit here, but maybe his newborn's crying so he's outside or somewhere. But Ethri is the other community staff who's been working really hard for this school. I had the privilege of working with Ethri for almost 10 years. In the Karen community from St. Paul to Austin, Albertville, here in South Dakota, everyone knows Ethri. Everyone. Like Timu, Ethri's phone rings at all hours of the day with calls to help translate for a medical appointment, to find emergency housing for single elderly Karen. He's a true champion for his people. I see Ethri fundraise for the flood in Myanmar and the refugee camp in Thailand. I see Ethri help to organize the march in Washington, D.C. to bring attention to the ongoing oppressions and killing of the Karen people and other minorities in Myanmar. We're delighted to have Ethri and Timu working with this team. I'm not sure where Timu is, but I know Ethri is here, so if he comes later, well, hopefully some of you will get to talk to him. And finally, I'm going to introduce our last speaker here. I'm going to introduce Anne. Anne has worked in education with students and adult learners for over 20 years, both in Wisconsin and Minnesota. As a first-generation college graduate, she understands the real values of a good education and holds 2 master's degrees in education from the University of Wisconsin at Oshkosh and Madison. And Lowe is the principal founder of Cross River Road. So, Anne, welcome to the podium. Congratulations.
Thank you. Where are my children? Come here. Come on. Good afternoon. As the co-founder and executive director of Cross River Charter, I am so excited to be here today with friends and family, community leaders, and most importantly, the community of St. Paul Park. Many of you may wonder why the name Cross River was chosen for this charter school. Well, first, what is a river? According to the Oxford Dictionary, it's a large natural stream of water flowing in a channel to the sea, a lake, or another stream. Dive into the geography of a river. It flows fresh water freely through lands, creating crevices, and through time imprinting itself upon the land in which it flows. Politically, it becomes a territorial boundary, water for a community,
and economically allows for transportation of products. In nature, it is a place where animal and people come to drink and replenish their bodies and their family. In my life experience, a river is both a necessity for survival and a hope. The Mekong River is the 12th longest river in the world. Stretches from the plateau of Tibet to the South China Sea, and its drainage area flows through 4 Southeast Asian countries, one in which I once called home. In addition to its natural nourishment and for its community, it is also a political boundary between Thailand and Laos. During the Vietnam War, one of the deadliest wars in the world history, my family, just like many Hmong families, faced a life-changing decision: to flee our home country or face persecution for our former allies with the United States. Without a concrete plan, only prayer to live, my parents led us foot through the jungle, scavenging for food along the way, urgently hoping to reach the Mekong River, the last part of the journey to safety. When we reached the Mekong River, we were relieved to be so close to life, but yet we faced the daunting challenge of survival. Crossing the Mekong River was a turning point for me and my family. Pursuing to swim across would determine if I would continue to live or if I would die. It determined if I would have a second chance at life or if I would forever be lost in the crossing like so many families who drowned or were shot swimming. So as I crossed the river, holding tight to the raft and to my family, I seized every ounce of breath with the choice to live every moment. I made it across the river. The lesson I share with you through my personal story is that we will all cross a river, facing adversity, some through our own doing, and others by no choice of our own. Just like crossing the river, though, we have a choice to live, and in doing so, a second chance to dream big and pursue our life's work with purpose and passion. Therefore, together as a community, we can pursue the journey of success for each child and their families by crossing the river to hope and opportunity at Cross River Charter. In conclusion, how amazing it is that a simple stream of fresh water can become a prolific symbol of hope and opportunity in the face of adversity, as well as the history of many of our families and our culture. May we continue to build on this history of resilience and victory together. Thank you.
It sounds like we're going to have lunch and then have Mr. Xiong entertain us, or does Mr. Xiong? I'm not very clear with this.
Can we just get it out of there?
Yeah. I would like to introduce my friend Tuzan. I remember in my early days when Tuzan and I go to training. We used to travel to places to train. We used to go to St. Cloud. I remember one time Tuzan and I went to Oshkosh with Ann's invitation. We went to do a 2-day training at these middle schools. I don't think anybody ever seen Tuzan talk, and Tuzan had fun on the stage, and the kids were just amazed, and they're like sitting with their mouths for like hours. And then I had to go up and do my training. The serious guy people like. So here's Mr. Xiong.
All right. Neng Xiong, here are my notes. I am not a doctor, so I didn't write a big, but I used the crayons today. So Neng Xiong. So I know that you quote philosophers and presidents. I'm going to quote someone very wise in my life. My mama. My mama said, literal translation, all the money in your cabinets isn't as meaningful as the ideas in your belly. But the meaning is that your material wealth, you can spend, that knowledge you keep growing. And so as I think about what Ann and the vision and the dream of Cross River School, I also want to share, I think of this story, because I'm a storyteller. When I was little, the parents would tell stories, like, oh, I get all worked up. My dad was a great storyteller because he knew how to use the power of language. You say, once upon a time, my dad would say, if we didn't have the HD effects and the surround sound, all we had was my daddy's voice. His kids were like, ooh, and he would imitate dragons. Rah! He would tell a story about the tiger. And he did that with his mouth. So all along, I was thinking that's how a tiger sounds like one of these people. And I would go to the zoo and see the tiger. Thinking I speak the tiger's language. But that's the impact that storytellers have in our lives. And I think about the beauty of language. My dad told, the reason why Hmong stories are so powerful, because they want to make a new law high. And our language is beautiful. You say "God" means you, "God" means touch, "Luka" is a stove. It's a full sentence in the English language. You touch the stove. Well, I want you to touch the stove. People say, what did you say? I'll give you a full sentence. Nia likes to steal his mother's money. Nia. Did you just say yeah? It's a full sentence if you appreciate the language, right? So that's why schools like this is important, to celebrate the beauty of both languages. So let me tell you a story about Jay. Jay was his poor father, this Hmong boy. Jay was born in Laos, we call Bano the hillbillies of Laos. Every day Jay just farmed. Every day Jay was late. We ever say in our language, your face is towards the ground, your back is towards the sky, because that's traditional Hmong life farming, right? And when Jay got older, and Jay got to know he was good at farming, but somewhere in the mountains of Laos, planes flew overhead. And we didn't have the word for airplane because that's an academic term. We compared, our language was so fundamental and basic. Da is an eagle, Lao is metal. We call it Da Lao, a huge eagle metal bird that flew in the sky. And it hummed. And Jay farmed every day. And one day Jay saw Da Lao. And Jay said, what guy? On the that metal plane in the sky is not created by nature. Man built that. How did he do it? And Jay dreamed of an education. And Jay asked himself, my father farmed? My father's father farmed? His father farmed? For how many generations? So Jay had a dream. What do I need to do so that someday I could learn how to build a plane like that? Which is an education. But Jay knew I cannot be Timothy forever, right? So that's where courage comes in. But Jay heard about this river called the Reiko River that swallows people up. Today, you young children, our parents used to think of the river as a dragon, because if you cross it, some might make it, some might not. But Jay knew he had to cross that river, which is why I love the theme, this Cross River. Sink or swim. Before you come on, and you pray, a lot of praying too. In Jay's story, my family, Jay is the story of my dad. That was his young name, Jay. As he got older, they called him Tia Jay. But Jay's story is also Ann's story. Jay's story is also Dr. Shua's story, Senator Fong's story. Jay's story is also Senator Bingham's story, the Irish story, the Norwegian story. Jay's story is the American story of creating something bigger, dreaming bigger, a place of opportunities for our children. And so today, it's such an honor to come here and see these parallels, these stories come together, these parallel stories come together. And an organization is only as great as the vision and the dream of its leaders, or its founders. So Ann, congratulations on this day. I'm excited that I will be coming back. And I also like the school because Ann and I were talking, and I was not a regular kid, right? I was not a regular kid because my dad said, you started kindergarten, you better be a doctor. I said, when I was in high school, I think a doctor, I don't like hospitals, man. I don't like the smell of medicine. It makes me want to throw up when I go to the hospital. But I said, tu nak cuci doctor, but the kucingnya, what doctor na? Kau yang cuci doctor, but ni kau berkak, way too funny, doctor. Because I told my dad, I want to be a comedian. I see Eddie Murphy, I want to make people laugh. But in our culture, if you're laughing, you're not learning. I said, Dad, I just want to laugh. I want to get out there. My dad said, so I told him, okay, if I cannot be a comedian, can I be a funny comedian? Right? Can I be a funny doctor? Because the doctor, if you're sick, you go, Dr. Shaw give you medicine, he fix your leg, you wear a cast, after a while you get better. But what if you're sad and nothing's wrong with your body, right? And your mental health, I'm so sad, we lost our country, we are refugees. So I go and say, no, life is okay in America. I be the doctor, I give you good medicine and mental health. I may not fix your body, but I get you laugh. The moment, so, as I was talking to Ann said she saw this school as a school for young people. The little kid that said, hey, I want to be a comedian, can also thrive, can also believe in their dreams. Because in my high school, I actually went to my counselor. She said, so what do you want to, look at this long list of jobs. What do you want to be? And I said, I like those guys who, these people who go to schools and they give them inspirational talk for an hour and they make everyone laugh and they go home. And my counselor didn't have a word for that. So I wanted to be one of those people who inspire people. And my counselor actually said, let's look. Lawyers practice law, doctors, or doctors, teachers teach. You inspire, so you. She just made up a word. My counselor said, you are an inspirer. I looked up, there is no career in the career book that said inspirer. I went to college, what do you major in? Inspirer. You can't major in that, right? So, Ann, at this school, congratulations. I hope that you will raise many comedians, many inspirers, many CDs, many storytellers, okay? And so I'm excited to share this. And lastly, for the young people, I'll share a little hip-hop piece that I wrote because I like to tell stories in rhyme too. Maybe it was luck, maybe it was fate that you were not made to the United States. But for whatever that reason was, you would not have got a mission because in our name we are Hmong. And in our blood we are Hmong. When I was little, my father said to me, so no matter where you go or who you be, you can change your clothes, you cannot change your skin. You can lie to others, you cannot lie to him. He is the monk inside you. He's everything you are. You remember this, son, you will go far. So I said, say to you, you may be short, but you're tall at heart. Don't let no one say you're not smart. You're rich in culture, spirit, and soul. Whoever tells you different, they got to go. My brothers and my sisters, I have shared with you a piece of history that has helped me through. It's about pride, culture, and love for oneself. It's about the Hmong people and a gracious wealth. So before I go, I say you got a mission. Spread the legacy and make others listen. Show your parents and that you are strong, because in your heart, your mind, and soul, you are Hmong. Can you imagine how hard it is to go after Tunza? But Tunza, I go to training. It's so hard for me. Thank you, Tunza. I know that Senator has to go and foods are here and we're done, so let's go eat. And let's bring food and we'll stay and chit chat. Thank you everyone for coming. Tunza, Zoe, it's too hard for me to go out. Bring some.
Oh, so you don't even have to see. Okay. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. So go. Can you go grab some food? I want to grab some food. I gotta represent.
Shake your hand. Where are you from? Oh, you know.
Yeah. She is. Many times.